Jared, as always, thanks for being with us. And how's the week of practice been so far as you get set for this Arizona game?
Yeah, it's good. We're just right in the middle of our Wednesday, getting ready for Arizona and gearing up for another tough matchup, and it'll be good.
You guys have taken the expectation in this town to a very high place. And as you might imagine, in our line of work, when you lose a game, there is there's a degree of shock. And one of the more popular calls we get after a loss is about play calling. And is there anything you can provide insight on the intricacies of play calling, that it's a lot tougher than it looks, or there's a lot more going on than people realize?
Sure, yeah. I think by all accounts, our guy is as good as it gets in this league. So, anytime he's calling plays for me, I'm fired up. And yeah, it's hard. It is really hard. It's hard to game plan. It's hard to call the plays at the right moment. It is hard, but track record shows our guy does a pretty good job of it.
We got a call yesterday from somebody said it's simple. David Montgomery in the red zone finishes drives. And I'm like, it's probably more complicated than that. How would you respond to somebody who said that?
Yeah, he does. I think, we love giving the ball to David as often as we can, but, there's also, 10 other guys on the offense that we have to account for, and certainly 11 guys on defense, depending on what they're doing. That dictates, certain ways that we have to maneuver throughout a game. And, yeah, sure, David's a great player, but the game dictated otherwise last week.
Dan Campbell said that he thought that maybe you were trying a little bit too much to make the bigger play. Does that mean that he thought that you were waiting a bit longer for the plays to develop rather than just taking what's right in front of you? Or how do you interpret that?
No, yeah, I think he's right. I think it's just knowing when the play's over and not trying to make something out of nothing and not try to, will us back in one play. Just do your job one play at a time. And I think that's something I was able to take from that game that I need to do a better job. It's just doing my job and not trying to, like he said, do too much or try to create something that isn't there.
Josh Reynolds seemed like he was a bit of a security blanket for you and the offense over the last couple of years. His first down percentage on catches was absolutely ridiculous. But for lack of a better term, are you still searching for a new security blanket, or is one emerging in practice, or is it just simply St. Brown?
I got a whole lot of wideouts and running backs that I love throwing to here, and it doesn't just stop at St. Brown. Jameson, Khalif, Sam LaPorta, Brock. I'll throw it to David. I'll throw it to Jameer. We'll throw it to all sorts of guys. So I don't know how to answer that other than I love throwing it to our guys.
Sam LaPorta, Dan Campbell revealed on our morning show yesterday that he's kind of being brought back slowly from the injury. Do you see him getting healthier, and do you imagine he will be a big part of the game plans moving forward?
Yeah, I think as we go, I'm sure he's as good of a tight end in this league as it gets, and of course we want to get him as involved as we can. And he looks good. He's running. I'm sure he feels good, and I think Dan's right on.
So Tim Patrick, he's obviously a bigger target for you to throw to. Dan Campbell talked about his massive catch radius. How have you seen him get better as he gets more reps in practice, and how big of an impact can he have? He kind of alluded to it last week, mentioned his name, and then he gets to get in the starting lineup. But where do you see him fitting in?
Yeah, Tim's done a good job. He just keeps kind of learning as he goes. Our offense isn't easy to pick up in 1 week, but he's done a great job. Really has learning. I thought he stepped in there nicely last week and had a couple good catches and good runs after catch. And his role will only grow as time goes on, I would imagine, and he's doing a good job.
One thing that we've kind of learned in talking to you is that you really value trust with a receiver. And you always talk about it with Amon-Ra, and you've given us very specific examples, which has been really cool. But in the case of Tim Patrick, how quickly can you develop that trust? That's something that it feels like it's developed over time, but I imagine it seems like, can you get to where you really trust a guy early? He's only been here a couple weeks.
Sure, yeah, you can. It takes a lot of reps and a lot of time in between practice, not necessarily our actual reps of practice, but we got some time in between where we can talk and work through different things. And I trusted him enough to throw him that ball on the sideline. We were so close to getting that ball in there on that third and longer. But Tim's doing a great job. He really is, and that trust is building.
How aware of you, or do you make concerted efforts not to be predictable with tendencies and who you throw to or target? Does that go through your mind at all during the course of a game when plays are called? You're like, well, okay, maybe we've gone to the well a lot with this player. Maybe we need to work it to somebody else.
Through my mind, zero. I'm sure it goes through Ben's mind as he's calling the plays, yeah.
Interesting. So watching the All-22, I was like, the other part of this whole game, Tampa did a really good job. What you saw, did you see a Tampa team that was really prepared and had a really good day defensively?
You tip your cap to them. They did play well, and they played well the last two times we played them too last year, and we were just able to play a little bit better. So they are a good team. They're a well-coached team. They did a good job against us, and we did not do our best.
So Arizona coming up, one of the more amazing stats is that you guys have not lost back-to-back games since that season back in 2022. Oh, you think I'm jinxing it now?
Saying.
But doesn't that speak a little bit to what this team is and where you guys are, that you always come back from a loss?
Yeah, I think it talks to our resilience and our ability to respond. Yeah, of course, you never want to lose two in a row, and I hope it doesn't happen for us this year. But I think, if anything, it speaks to our ability to respond, and it starts with Dan, and he's as good as I've been around at coming back on Monday after a loss and putting things in perspective and pushing us on the right track quickly. So hopefully we can get back on track this week. Arizona's another tough team. They're hungry, they're young, they're playing well, and it'll be fun.
You've got a lot of games under your belt playing at Arizona. Does anything stand out to you about playing there? Like the turf, is the turf different? The lighting different? Does the logo make you smile? What's different about playing there?
It is grass indoors, and anytime you get that, I think them and Vegas might be the only two teams that have it now. Grass indoors is a lot of fun. It's soft. The turf is always tough on your joints at times. Not necessarily for me, but a lot of our guys that are hitting the ground a little more often and running, turf can be tough on your joints, and the whole story with turf. But the grass and you're inside and on the road is always fun. You get a ruckus crowd there. It is fun.
What challenges does their defense present?
They do a lot of different stuff. They really do. And I think, right away you see Buda Baker jump off the tape and the ways they use him and move him around. And he's as electric player that, I've ever played against. And I played against him since college all the way through. We were NFC West opponents a lot, and got a lot of respect for him. But, yeah, they've got a lot of young players who are hungry. They play really hard. They're a freaking good team, and we're excited to go out there.
Speaking of defense, what can you say about Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It really was, and it's a shame we let it go in vain and weren't able to hold up our end of the bargain on offense. But it really was impressive on the sideline watching that and being like, damn, another one. And I think, you've seen it this whole offseason with him, with his work, and I've seen his body change, since he was a rookie until now, and just his work ethic and the time he puts into it and how much he cares and his standard for himself. It's extremely high. And when you have a player that you combine all that stuff, good things happen, and it was fun to see that.
Is he a pain in the ass to practice against? I mean, is the whistle constantly being blown because obviously they can't hit quarterbacks in practice? But would you stop blowing up the play? We gotta run the offense here.
He started to enter that territory of ruining practice at some points throughout training camp, and it's tough. He's a tough guy to block, and I don't care who you are.
Hey, Cal is 3-0. We got the big win over San Diego State last week. Now it's on to Florida State. Are the Bears going to continue to keep the Seminoles in a tailspin?
Yeah, we're starting I think this is our first ACC game, right? So, it would be, right? Yeah, so, we got to keep winning, and if we win this one, we're 4-0, and we got the U at home the week after, so you never know.
And lastly, have you had a chance to keep up with what the Detroit Tigers are doing? I know you're a baseball guy. Your dad played professional baseball. You keeping up with what the Tigers are doing right now?
I'm aware they're in a playoff push. I don't know if I know exactly how many more they need or what they need to happen, but I'm aware they're in the hunt and playing well.
Well, good luck. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk again next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There he is, Jared Goff here on 97.1 The Ticket.